So we've been playing for 100 days. We just hit our 100-day sign in for 100 days mission, and I thought it would be kind of cool to just kind of go through the account and see what we've done, what 100 days looks like for our account and our situation. So we're 100 days in. I've spent, I don't know how much I've spent, honestly. I would estimate that I'm probably somewhere around like 600 to 700. I don't think I've gone insane. I've spent a little bit of money here and there, trying, in the earlier stages, catch it up. I haven't really spent much in the last couple of months. It feels like I buy the Dragon Pass usually. I haven't bought this one yet. I do a couple of the monthly, like the monthly cards. I do a couple of things like that, the VIP thing, whatever it's called, privilege card. But as far as actual packs go, I haven't bought an actual pack in quite a bit, I don't think. So a lot of our spending was just kind of early on to accelerate us a little bit. So let's just kind of take a look at what we got going on. We had some great pulls. I know we had some great pulls. Everybody was telling me Comet was amazing early on, and it took me a little bit to see it, but we're here now, and he's now my strongest champ. He's the one that's got the best gear, the highest power level. He's up there. Valeria is, for me, arguably, that's a tough call. She is among the most impactful champs I've pulled. I'll say that. I use her in a lot of different places. She makes Arena a very different game when I'm able to use her. I used her in clearing 917 in the campaign. I've used her in quite a few places. Artifact Material Raid. You know what I mean? She's valuable in a lot of places. So I feel the impact of Valeria significantly. Virna, also ridiculous AoE damage. There's some things that I don't even know if I'd be able to do if I didn't have her. So my top 3 champs here, I think actually end up being my top 3 champs. So that's worked out pretty well. I definitely feel the impact of these 3 very, very intensely. Valkyra was one that I was a big fan of early on and still am a big fan of. Excuse me. I use her, still using her actually, in even some like later / end game content. I'm a big fan of her. I wouldn't hate pulling some dupes of her, to be honest. I wouldn't mind getting some awakening in her because I really like her a lot. I think she's really fun. I still need to finish skilling her up. Skill crystals, man. I've heard some people talk about skill powder being an issue. For me, it's the crystals. I think I have every legendary I have skilled up to the point of needing crystals, and I've still got. Let me find one that I haven't maybe skilled up yet enough. I've got 1600 skill powder, so like I'm not hurting for that at all. And again, most of my legendaries, if not all of them, are skilled up to the point of needing crystals. The crystals are rough, but I do want to skill up Valkyra. We pulled Hex very recently. I'm still learning how to use Hex. I'm still getting familiar with Hex, but I definitely see the potential, right? I get that he's very good. Nyx, I'm a big fan of. When I pulled her, I got a lot of like rips, like a lot of rips in the chat. Like, damn, that's a bummer you pulled Nyx. I've never felt like Nyx wasn't pulling her weight. I get a lot out of her. I think she's really good. And I tend to lean toward her when I need an archer. She's among my first option. I think my first option is usually her, right? She's ridiculously good. But it's usually her and Razak that I go to next. And he's another one that everybody was like, kind of a rip. It's cool that he has the XP boost thing, but people weren't a big fan of him when I pulled him. I don't know how the sentiment is now, but I also like him a lot. We'll get to the ones I don't like, because there are a couple. Alistair, I like a lot. I think he was a great candidate for the fusion. He's really cool. I put up some pretty good numbers with him in Guild Boss. I've played around with him a little bit. I don't know that he's unlocked any content for me, but he's been fun to use. I've enjoyed having him. Sadie, amazing. I really like Sadie. She's really cool. If you're not through Gear Raid 218 yet, she's your free pass. So if you have her and you're working your way through Gear Raid 2, and now 1920 are different stories, I think, but up to and through 18, she's literally the cheat code. If you have her, you can pretty much just do it. Okay, she's fantastic. Gwendolyn's pretty cool. I have felt like she's a little bit lackluster in her ability to heal, but the shields and stuff are dope. I haven't done as much with her as maybe I need to, so I'm gonna try to play around with her a little bit, give her more of a go. Abomination's awesome. He's the fusion. And we do have one legendary lord, I believe. Yeah, we've pulled one legendary lord, and it's Torador. So those are very rare. I know that there's people that have been playing a lot longer than I have that don't have a legendary lord yet, so we're pretty fortunate there. And he's been huge, right? His lord skill has been great, and then I've used him in a few different ways. He's been fun. Ajax was also awesome. Just such a cool champ to pull, and the way we pulled him was really cool. Calypso, I'm trying to get some usage out of. I think she's really cool, but not having a super huge impact the way I would like her to. Volka's great. Zealous is one. We're gonna find our groove with him and make him work. Nocturne's awesome. Regulus is fun. Absyn, I want to like more. He's one that I tried to advocate for early on, but I get it. I get why he's not as popular. For someone like me who was limited for a long time on fighters, and especially any fighters with range, and for a while struggled with archers, he was incredibly important to me in the earlier stages of my account for that airborne, for that ability to give me some airborne defense where I was struggling elsewhere. And then Lasir. Another one we pulled really early on, and he's, great at the stuff he's great at. Got quite a few epics down here. As far as the champs that I just cannot find a place for, Aurum. I've tried Aurum. I've tried to make Aurum useful. And I just can't do it, man. He's not strong enough tanky wise to be a tank. He doesn't have enough attack to do good damage. I've tried everything I can think of to make this dude useful, and it's just not happening. So maybe we just haven't found his place yet. But like in faction trials, he gets melted. Anywhere that I try to use him as a tank, he gets melted. If I try to switch it up and use him as a damage dealer, he obviously gets melted even faster. I just can't find a place for Aurum. I don't know. I don't know what to even do with him to make him better. Yeah, I just am not a big fan. And then again, you're all probably pretty familiar with the epics. Here's a legendaries we haven't built yet. Now she's going to be the next one I build. I haven't done it yet, but she will be the next legendary I build. I'm not even certain when I'll get around to building these three. Kai seems cool. I keep pulling him, so I'm kind of just annoyed that I keep pulling him when I want other stuff. I don't know much about her, but I'm not particularly overwhelmed by either one of them. I think when I build her, it'll be for perhaps like the Infernal Guild Boss team, so that Pyros can do his thing, you know what I mean? Because I was lacking, I think, enough options for that to really be effective. So maybe she'll help me out in that sense, but beyond that, I don't have any big plans for her. But I am going to build her next. She's the next champ I'm building. So other than that, again, a lot of the usual suspects. We've been pretty fortunate with Epic Lords. I don't know how common that is for everybody else. We did pull 2 copies of him, and then he became the fusion. I think Pyros might have been our first Lord Epic that we pulled, and we pulled him during his fusion as well. We've got Wrath. We've got a couple more down here that I haven't built yet. Yeah, Raiden, and then Ain. We've got quite a few Epic Lords. We've been pretty fortunate with Epic Lords, and a lot of them have come from the red shards, which is pretty interesting. Because it feels like you don't have a lot of luck with the red shards, but then when you go back and look at it, you're like, oh, I really have. I really have been pretty fortunate there. Summons. Will it tell us how many summons we've done, or just the last 300? Summoning record, just the last 300. It'd be interesting to know how many summons I've actually done. Wait, there is a way to see that. It's in here, right? Yeah. So we're at 2,030 summons. That's how many times we've summoned in 100 days on the account. So, and again, we did buy some shards, but I think the majority of those shards have just come from playing the game. The game is very generous, much more generous than most other games that I've played on how many summons it gives you. Summoner's War has kind of grown into that. For a long time, Summoner's War was brutal with the amount of summons they gave you. So this is one of the more generous games I've played. Arena, we tend to relax into Platinum 2. If I focus a season, I'll get into Plat 3. And I've been about here in Plat 3. I've almost snuck up into Overlord a couple times. We've never touched Overlord though. And our best bet for the season, I think, is single target DPS because of Valeria. She's like ridiculous in there. So we if we're gonna hit Overlord, I think we'll probably hit it there first. We do pretty decent in AoE DPS as well. This is our setup for AoE DPS. We do pretty well in here. We do okay in anti-air now. I'm back and forth. Sometimes I have a real good run, and then sometimes it's not so hot. But yeah, we're basically, if we relax and don't do anything, we sit comfortably in Plat 2. If we push, we go to Plat 3. So I'm hoping sometime soon we can get our first Overlord clear. Tide, we are in wave 132. 132, whatever that means. And another day of just collecting and leveling up, I think we'll be able to push through a little bit. But it's pretty slow going now. I reckon it's going to be one stage at a time for a while. There's three people on 160. Man, that's crazy. That's a crazy account, dude. So we're, bumping up there as we're able to. Void Rift. I don't do much Void Rift. It just doesn't feel worth the time sink to me. I have cleared Elite, and I reckon if we really wanted to, we could probably clear hard. But again, it just doesn't feel worth the effort, the time for me. I've got too many other things to do in my day than sit and play Void Rift. So sometimes if I feel like I have a few moments, I'll jump in there and dabble and play around a little bit, but I don't really focus it too much because it just doesn't feel worth it. It's too much time for too little, in my opinion. So anyway, promotion raid, obviously we cleared all these a long time ago. These were pretty easy to clear early on. Guild boss, we are going to start working on Nightmare 4. We've currently 2-key this. We were 2-keying it even when it was 20,000. We do about 11,000 per hit right now. So I would like to if I could just transfer that damage to Nightmare 4 and just start getting the 4th chest here, I think I would be fine with that. But yeah, hopefully soon we can start to, jump up into some big damage and start getting the top chest there, because I imagine that's going to be pretty valuable. Yeah, that's going to be pretty valuable. So we're going to start working on that soon. Gear Raid 2, we are through 21. We farmed 21 quite a bit. Gear Raid 1, we are real close to a 20 clear. Which is something we're kind of working on. And I think I just need a couple more advancements in my gear, just a couple more bumps and a couple champs, and I think we're close. We're getting real close to a clear on 20. And then Gear Raid 3, we messed around in our episode this morning, our daily episode this morning, and we're trying to get a 19 clear here, and I just I don't have an answer for it. So we're probably going to have to do a little bit of research and see what kind of strategies people are using to deal with that right side, because that right side's giving us a real headache right now. But that's where we're at in our gear raids. Artifact material raid, we're through 18. Like I said, we farm 18. Valeria is a huge part of that. Everybody there is kind of a huge part of that, to be honest. It's a pretty good team that we've got. Faction trials, we are at 209 of 276. We are working to get every faction through 9. Now, I don't think I can look at... Yeah, I don't think I can look at them unless they're open. But we're pretty much... Are we there? Are we pretty much there? These are all purple, so I don't know if that's showing me purple because that's what I'm currently farming, or if that's just showing me that that's where they come from. But I think we're in stage 9 in most of them. We're close, if we're not there. And then on the basic trial, we're through stage 8. So we're working our way through that. Again, that's just kind of a slow grind. What else is there? What else is there to talk about? Campaign, we've cleared. We've got to come back and get these 2, which is really just a matter of me sucking it up and doing it. We can do it. I know we can do it. This one, we were so close to 3-starring when we beat it, and someone snuck through right at the end. But like, I know we can. I just have to be willing to go back and give them the time to do it. But I know we can do it. Those are the only 2 stages in the campaign we haven't 3-starred though. And I reckon that's about it. I don't know what else really there would be to go over. Talked about all our champs, kind of our progress everywhere. Still having a really good time with the game, which is nice to be 100 days in and still enjoying it. Still feeling challenged, like as much as you feel like you're banging your head against the wall sometimes. Like for me right now with Gear Raid 3, I don't even have a path forward, you know what I mean? But there's a part of that that's really enjoyable. There's a part of that that's fun. So even though it's like when you're trying to figure out and you get into it and it's aggravating because you're invested, you know what I mean? Because you know there's a way to do it and you've just got to figure it out. It's not aggravating because it's just like, I don't know, some games are very bad about artificial difficulty, if that makes sense. This one, I think, does a pretty good job of making things difficult in a way that there's a solution most of the time. Not all the time, none of them are perfect, but some games it's just like they want it to be more difficult, so it's literally just the boss has a lot more HP and attack, and you just have to deal with that. Whereas here, there's a lot of ways to drop champs and pull champs back and take advantage of certain mechanics and find a way around whatever the problem you're having is. So it's really enjoyable, albeit aggravating at times. So that's something I think this game does a really good job of. And I have a really good time problem solving, even when we fail. We spent like 45 minutes in my last upload, my daily upload, trying to figure out Gear Raid 319 and didn't have success. We didn't get through it. We made some progress in the way that we approach it, but ultimately we didn't beat it. And part of that's aggravating, but part of that's a lot of fun. It's nice to have a problem to solve. It's nice to not just buy your way through it or be stuck. You know what I'm saying? I know that we'll figure it out. So yeah, having a great time. I think it's a great game. Devs seem to still be heading in a pretty good direction. I hope that continues. We are, like I said, in the territory, in my experience anyway, of when things tend to start going downhill, if they're going to go downhill. And I have seen some videos recently from Fastidious of them nerfing rates for certain champs in the summons. Really good champs, Boreas and a couple of other like really sought after champions, and they seem to be making them more difficult to obtain, which the only reason I can imagine that would be the case is to make people feel compelled to spend money to get them. I hope that's not true, because that'll be a really bad sign of things to come. And most games over the years make it about this far, and all the money that they make screws them up, and they just start worrying about making more instead of focusing on what got them the money in the first place. And again, I'm really hoping that doesn't happen here. So only time will tell. We'll have to see how it goes. But anyway, that's my, I don't know, state of my account after 100 days and my feelings about the game so far after 100 days. Really enjoying it. I don't plan on going anywhere anytime soon. But who knows, man? Who really ever knows what's going on anymore? So I'll go ahead and get out of here. Appreciate you guys watching. I hope this was interesting for you. I'd be interested to hear about your experience. How many days are you at on your login? How do you feel about the game? What's your progress like? Anybody else around 100 days? It'd be interesting to kind of hear like a comparison of where you're further than I am, where maybe you're not as far as I am, where we're neck and neck. Like that would be kind of interesting to hear. So that's it. I'll get out of here for today. I appreciate you guys watching. Hope you have a good one, and I'll see you tomorrow.